Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Happy freaking Full Lid Friday. Today we're talking about, I think, three. I'm going to try to get to three topics, but we're going to talk about Saccone Joly. He's going viral for something he did with his son, which he calls his daughter, and it's absolutely bonkers that this guy keeps getting away with what he's getting away with. It's bullshit. Two, we're going to talk about Shari Franke getting in front of the parliament, or I call it parliament, sorry. It's your, whatever, the people who make the laws, I guess. She gets in front of them. And she also had a really big statement on Instagram we want to cover. But before we do that, I literally owe you guys like 4 spins on this old wheel right here. So I'm going to spin it, and every single person in my membership or my Patreon is on this wheel right now. I don't spin it every Friday now because I'm actually the one who has to mail these things out. And so I wait for the all bulk to come in, and then I just mail them out myself. I head over to Ogdensburg and I ship them from USPS. It's super cheap. If you have not received your winning t-shirt, please reach out to me because I'm still backlogged on when I got ripped off by the person that was doing it for me. To this day, nothing. Never responded. Has all my equipment. It's insane, but I'm trying my best to make sure everybody who won a prize gets a prize. I will try my utmost. Please reach out to me if you haven't got it with the initial date that you wanted, if you can, and I'll get you your prize. I promise. I'm not gonna leave you hanging, okay? But let's spin this wheel, play some tunes. The dogs are sleeping, but we'll see how they go.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. No face. Okay. No face. Cool beans.
Yeah, baby.
What? Unapologetically autistic. That's a name.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Mallory Frank. And one more. One more.
Getting a little bit tired here, not gonna lie.
Not chewing those. And Shayla Ramsey. Whew, holy smokes. All right, if your name popped up here, reach out to Josh at thedadchallengepodcast.com with your shirt size and your address, and I'm gonna hook you up. Let's get to the video. It's a lot of dancing, you know? I've also got this video. I don't know if should we end it on a funny note? I think we should end it on a funny note. But I've got a video my wife sent me. The comments are absolutely amazing, and I just opened it again after a while because I saved the links, and I say react to these or laugh at the comments, so I do that. Okay, so let's start off with Saccone Joly, who did this video. Guys, get ready to be super pissed. Don't forget, if you don't know anything about the Saccone Jolys, they've been exploiting their children on the internet since, like, some of them were born. I think since after the first one was born, and then all the other kids were born on the internet. They've been taken advantage of their entire lives. There's allegations of abuse, like cold water abuse, which if you look back on my channel, you can see those videos. Jonathan then came out as non-binary, and then one of his kids came out as trans, which is, I'm sorry, I know I always get flack for saying this. There's no trans kids, okay? That's like if you see a cat or someone that's a vegetarian, that's the owner, okay? When you see trans kids, you got to look at the parents, and I bet you there's a trend you're going to see the other way. I mean, this guy is not only, if it's true that it's the case, which I don't believe it, the odds are astronomical that a person who's non-binary will have a trans child. Astronomical. If it exists in nature, like they say it does, the odds are like 1 in a trillion that this would happen. Okay? So this kid is being groomed into this world, also being exploited into this world by sharing the story of his child online for everybody to have. What if this kid changes his mind? Which he will change his mind. Okay, because this is not genuine. This is something the dad is forcing and the mom is forcing on this child. Okay, and ever since this kid came out as trans, this kid has become the number one star on the channel according to them, but it's also the reason they get the most hate because they are exploiting this child for their story. Okay, and then it leads up to this. It leads up to Jonathan, and who I think is estranged. I think they live in the same house, but they're not married anymore. So these kids are living in super confusion, and they're just not having a good time. Jonathan I think he's spinning out of control, and I think it's showing in the content because this is how low he will stoop. Look at this video.
This is my daughter Edie, and today is a big day because she's going on her first date.
She's 10, I think. 10 years old, going on your first date. Let's take that aside. I have an almost 10-year-old, okay? Never in a million years. Never in a million years. 10? Are you out of your damn mind? Okay? There's no dating when you're 10. It's insanity.
This is what I'm gonna wear. So the guy I'm meeting is a big fan.
So the guy that this boy is meeting. So now, if you want to get into the politics of trans ideology, it's a long, deep, dark wormhole, okay? And as I've said in this channel, if an adult wants me to call them whatever they want me to call them, that's an adult's decision, okay? But I will not stand there and let parents take advantage of children like this, and I will not indulge parents' fantasies for their children. I won't do it, okay? Often the underlying thing with trans ideology is that they're just gay. Okay, but the world, we're in this big world where it's like if you have this identity and this and that, you have more, victim points and here and there. It's just what it is. Where we live right now, it's absolutely bonkers, I think. Okay, I just think it's taken over and it's crazy. Because when it seeps down to the kids and it confuses children and it puts them in a position where they could be castrated, chemically or otherwise, you're out to lunch, okay? This shouldn't, this is the age where this kid is going to be put on puberty blockers, which then could render this boy with a micropenis and the ability maybe to never have an orgasm or have children for the rest of his life if he changes his mind. And that's a parent who has to make that choice. Let me show the audience what you asked if they were yours. No, I bought these for me. I definitely bought these for me. And so, again, this child might not even be gay. It's just the dad is using and rage baiting, using his son to do it on the internet in the most disgusting ways because he does this. We pay attention, but he also goes viral on TikTok and Instagram for all the wrong reasons, and only people are complaining about it. There's nobody celebrating this. Not even people who are in the trans community are celebrating this. Okay, because they're like, they're taking advantage of this child. Even they recognize it to a degree.
So I got him some gifts. So first I got Jonathan.
And let's be real. Are you saying if you are setting your 10-year-old up on a date, which we know is probably a lie, okay? Does that boy realize that you are also a boy genetically? Like, what is the other parent thinking doing this? Especially I don't get it. And if the date goes well, I'm gonna get him gifts. What?
Then I got Matt. Then I got Henry, and I also got Dustin. Oh, and if the date doesn't work out,
what do you mean if the date doesn't work out? What do you plan on this date? And I'm not ragging on this child. I'm obviously ragging on Jonathan because he's scripting this child to say this stuff, right? But what do you mean if the date doesn't work out? What works out? Like your friends? You go on another date? What is the working out for a 10-year-old on a date? Send the fucking asteroid and send it to the UK because that's where they live. Okay.
I also got this iPad so he can FaceTime me.
You bought a 10-year-old an iPad so he could FaceTime you. Did you ask the other parent if that was cool? Because that's not cool. You don't give other kids electronics so they can FaceTime with other people. Like, this is crazy. They didn't even think of it.
I'll also be keeping this if the date doesn't go well.
And it's just an empty box. It's not, again, this is not true, and it's disgusting because people will think it's true.
Okay, now I'm all ready to go on the date, and I'll update you guys how it went.
This is disgusting. Okay, it's disgusting that this dad would do this to his child. Like it never ceases to amaze me the depths that these people will go. Here's the comments. When he finds out, like 13,000 likes. Oh, congrats, Edie. You're such a beautiful girl. And this is the people they give into these delusions. It's because they want to be a part of this thing. That's not a girl. Okay, let's just say it. What? This is a person who grows up to be trans, and when they're an adult, they make that choice. Let's just say it. What gives Jonathan the right to put that story out there? Because again, what if he changes his mind? Because there is a massive growing community of people who are detransing, and they're having a really, really, really hard time with it. Okay, because they were sold a lie. And if you go to detrans on Reddit, you'll see it, and it is actually insane. Okay, and for me, especially when it comes to kids and teenagers, it's like the new goth, the new emo. It's the new, JNCO pants and doing the dance under the bridge like this. That's all it is, the new thing. And it'll recycle into something else. This will go away, especially for kids. It will. And it's just the next thing for identity. It's crazy. Someone says, that's your son. Isn't he 8? Someone says, how old is it? And that boy turns up and sees what she brought him and be like, wait till he finds out. How old is he? Like, and these people, a lot of people don't realize, okay, the depths of what this guy has done, Jonathan Joly. And his entire content is his children. It's all his children, and look at who gets the most views. So if you go through it, 2.2, it's always when his kids are in the video. This guy is an absolute massive child exploiter, and the only way he makes money is by exploiting his children. And his wife isn't even in content anymore. It's actually crazy. She's doing her own thing with a gay best friend, she calls herself a trans mom and a gay best friend. That's what the content that they're putting out there. These people have fallen off insane amounts, and thank God, because they're probably going to be irrelevant very soon, and I hope so. So, don't watch Jonathan Saccone Joly. Go downvote everything. Cool? Cool. What a dickhole. All right, let's get into the next story here. So, Shari Franke got to go in front of, speaks to the Utah Legislative Committee about child influencers. And before we get to that, I got to show you what she wrote on her Instagram, and I have it saved here somewhere. Let me find it for you. I saved it here because I wanted to make sure she didn't, end up deleting it for whatever reason. But this is what she wrote. At first, family vlogging is an alluring business that can bring high revenue, which is, she ain't joking. Some of these influencers make millions of dollars a year, okay? Hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and they live high in the life, and they don't have real jobs. They don't need to. They make so much effing money, and these kids work for it, okay? For my family, it became the primary source of income, and this is often the case for full-time family vloggers. And don't forget that Kevin is a professor at BYU, was a professor at BYU, so he's making probably pretty good salary as well. But that wasn't even close. She would probably made more than 1 month on 8 passengers than he made in a year as a BYU professor, okay? Probably triple that at their height. Okay? And this is often the case for full-time family vloggers. Many child influencers are paid for their work. I certainly was, and the money has helped me in my adult life. Now, I don't know how much she was given. However, this payment was usually a bribe. For example, we'd be rewarded $100 for a shopping trip if we filmed a particularly embarrassing moment or an exciting event. And some of the embarrassing moments that 8 passengers filmed were like daughters shaving their legs, getting in baths, having meltdowns, first dates, kisses, like just conversations that weren't appropriate at all. Okay? Other times, simply going on vacation was expected to be payment enough because most kids don't get to go on regular and expensive vacations or trips. So crazy. Never mind the fact that the child's labor is actually what's paid for the vacation or the trip. Amen. There is no law in place to guarantee child influencers get any money from their work. If a family account does not become an LLC, parents are taxed heavily for paying their children. But parents receive tax write-offs for the regular clothes they wear, the gas money used to drive places, and even the houses they live in. Yeah, because the house is the set. The groceries, I think Doherty doesn't writes off her groceries. She's just waiting to get a massive audit from the IRS, and then she's going to claim bankruptcy and just walk away. And even the house they live in, anything that is filmed can be written off. And then, even after registering their business as an LLC, there's no guarantee the children will ever be paid. Any payment that happens is under the table with no paper trail. And how do we determine how much a child should make from appearing in family content? What price is worth giving up your childhood? That line right there is the most important line. What price is worth giving up your childhood? You're never going to know that, and you never can know that because kids cannot give informed consent. It doesn't matter how much money you're going to make later. They cannot give consent to this. And there is no price, I think, and Shari would agree. There's no price worth giving up your childhood. Some of these people will pay their children as payroll, right? So they can bring more money into the household, and they'll just spend it. The kid doesn't get the money. They'll just put the kid as a person who's receiving money in the family, and they'll take it, which I think is, I don't know if it's illegal, but it's absolutely immoral. Okay, but despite any monetary payment children may receive, don't let this excuse the 24/7 labor that these kids are subjected to. As a child, I was fully aware I was an employee. Well, that's just because Ruby told them. The business was successful when I was happy, and when I shared my hardships with the world. Some of our most popular videos were when my eyebrow was accidentally waxed off, and the whole world saw a crying teenager who just wanted to mourn in private. Or the time I was violently ill and got the leading role in the video for that day. My friends became scarce because dates would be filmed, and none of my friends wanted to be on camera. The camera never stops, and there's no such thing as a vacation from filming. Amen. Like, people need to listen up. And you know who it's, I'll get to it in a second. Shari Franke writes that at the time, I'd tell you that I had a choice in what was filmed. But I've come to learn that every child influencer in a way suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. Most child influencers would probably tell you they have full control over what is posted, but the reality is their parents bribe and shame them into posting their most vulnerable moments. I've been talking about this for years. In fact, many child influencers may tell you they enjoy their work because of the monetary perks they receive or the fun experiences they can have. What child would say no to a fun vacation or a shopping spree if if all they need to do was film a mental breakdown or embarrassing moment? That's crazy. She's saying it like it is, and all these kids go through this, everybody. But as children, we do not understand the consequences of filming our lives and having it posted for the world to see. We cannot give consent to our parents to post our lives. In any other context, it is understood that children cannot consent. But for some reason, people think family vlogging is different. I did not realize the impact of filming as a child would have on me now. My social media became flooded with rumors of having a sexual relation with my brother, to being called a baby birthing machine at the age of 13. That's insanity. And again, look how much that has stuck with her. Like, you can't just look over comments, hit, especially children who can't decipher that stuff. Okay, needless to say, all the predators that watch them, all these things have stuck with me, and I will forever live from the ages of 13 and 17 in many of our viewers' minds. In addition, pedophiles stalk the internet, specifically seeking out child influencers. I promise you that the parents are aware of these predators, and they choose to post their children anyway. We all know that, and I'm glad she's speaking up about it. We know they do know this, and they just don't give a crap. They don't care. Money matters more than the kid's safety. And again, we're just waiting. And it's sort of already happened a couple of times without happening yet, but we're just waiting until that one thing happens and then changes are made. Someone has got to be the sacrificial lamb, and it sucks before changes are really made. I understand that this is a big issue to tackle. I'm not asking you to ban family vlogging, though that is my end goal. Amen. I also understand that as Utahns, we don't appreciate big government overreach. However, when it comes to protecting children, it should be a bipartisan issue. The only people harmed by child influencer laws are the parents exploiting their kids. There it is. Hear that again. The only people harmed by the child influencer laws are the parents who exploit their children. Shari is well beyond her years in wisdom. While this may not seem like an issue now, as child influencers in Utah continue to grow up, I foresee there will be legal crisis within these children realizing that vlogging has brought severe emotional distress. Or these kids may realize they don't have an appropriate amount of money to show for their forced labor. After all, how does that child know how much they should have been making compared to what they may or may not have received from their parent? Let's deal with this now before we reach that point. But even despite a good paycheck, I want to be absolutely clear that no amount of money can justify selling your soul as a child to the world. In no other industry would we justify unregulated child labor with a huge paycheck, and we should not do that here. And they get huge paychecks, these parents. Often the kids, of course the kids live in the homes and they get the food and they go on the vacations, but the money's gone because the lifestyles of these people exponentially increase to the point where they're just living in their means, sometimes above their means, even if they're bringing in more money. The Doherty dozen, again, spent $945,000 on camera last year. That's almost $1 million. Insane. If I could go back and do it all again, I'd rather have an empty bank account now and not have my childhood plastered all over the internet. No amount of money I receive has made what I've experienced worth it. Listen to that. Listen to the wisdom of this. And parents and family vloggers who have kids in these programs, well, this could get into their eyeballs. And they would read that and just laugh it off. And her aunt sort of did, and we're gonna look at it in a second. If I can go back and do it again, while I don't have all the answers nor many feasible solutions for this problem, I am proud to be one of the first child influencers in Utah to speak against this issue. I don't want people to look at me and blame my unique circumstances. With a mother in prison to the Franke criminal case, family vlogging ruined my innocence long before Ruby committed a crime. I promise you that my experiences are not unique and are happening to child influencers all over Utah and the country. Let's tackle this issue before it becomes a bigger crisis than it already is. What an amazing statement from Shari. Okay? And then she went in front of the Utah legislature. But before we get to that, I need to show you guys this. This should piss you off. Oh my gosh, it should piss you off. Now, it might be interesting to a lot of people to know that Shari doesn't follow Bonnie Holing, and neither does Bonnie follow Shari. Shari is speaking to her entire family when she says this. She's not just, she just alluded, she just really just touched on what Ruby did. Okay? But she's saying the overarching thing is forget the crime and look what's actually happening. And she's calling out her family for doing what they do. And so it's interesting that Bonnie doesn't follow her and they don't get along and all that kind of stuff. And so this is what Ellie, her aunt, put on social media the day she's speaking, which is today, which is yesterday, because you're watching this tomorrow, right? But this is what she put on social media after Shari released that statement. October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. I'm so grateful we documented our life when we did. This was the most raw, sad video we filmed. Are you glad you put that on the internet, are you? After days of waiting for a miscarriage to pass and so on, I took medication, blah, blah, blah. This is the first pregnancy. So what she's doing is telling Shari, F off, little girl. That's what she's telling her. She's like, I'm so glad that we filmed our life, even though Shari's telling them they're wrong. But Shari's in the right here. She has the moral high ground. So Ellie, like, can you imagine like being called out by the smartest person in your family for being taken advantage of their whole life, telling your aunts and uncles and stuff like that what you're doing is wrong, and then responding with, I'm so grateful we documented our life. Why? Why are you? So if you're grateful, there's nothing wrong with documenting your life. But why are you grateful you shared it with millions of people? Why? What, except for monetary, what was the benefit? Right? Okay, well, the likes and all that. I guess there's benefits, okay? What I'm saying is that Shari's calling you out, and the day she calls you out, you're like, I'm so glad we did this. That's douchey. Okay, that's super douchey. And then again, with Bonnie not following, these people, this is your niece, Bonnie. Remember Bonnie talks about how family's so important, blah, 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 this and that and the other thing? Shari's just telling the truth. She's telling her truth and the truth of many influencers, and likely knows what her cousins are going through on here. And those people are just either unfollowing her publicly or calling her out publicly for telling the damn truth. Could you imagine? Unbelievable, these people. Shari is in the right 100%. She is not being selfish. She's telling the truth. She's getting her story out there and she's getting paid for it, and that's fine. She needs a bigger voice to do it. And these people are just jealous, sad, and upset. And so what's their return? They're just being, oh, F, she's wrong with that. She's not wrong. Because even in Shari's comments, people were like, I don't like, there are some people that are doing it right, like Jess Fam. I'm like, are you, who? You think Jess Fams? These people refuse to hear this. They refuse to hear that this could be wrong. Okay, so let's take a look real quick at this. She's at the Utah Legislative Committee.
Members, thank you for your time. Understand where you're at in terms of the schedule. I will be extremely brief. I wanted this to be an issue on interim study because of the importance of the issue and its relative unknown, the fact that it's
not unknown. It's unknown to these old fogies, but it's not unknown.
Known by, I think, most people in the legislature and the public, the vulnerability of child actors in traditional media and also in new forms of social media influencers, and would like to invite a well-known person in our state to testify about it, Shari Franke. And so I'm going to turn the time over to her.
Right. Thank you for having me today. My name is Shari Franke. My mother, Ruby Franke, is a prominent family vlogger that was arrested last year for child abuse. I don't come today as the daughter of a felon, nor as a victim of an abnormally abusive mother. I come today as a victim of family vlogging.
Mm-hmm. See, this is what's so smart about Shari. She's like, look, I had all this stuff, but that's not, let's put that aside for a second. For the bigger picture here. That's, like, this woman is going to be so successful in no matter what she does. And, like, it's a credit to Ruby well, maybe it's a credit to Shari that she came out from an abusive situation to become this. Because that is so strikingly selfless that it should be documented how good, and she should be patted on the back for that. She's like, forget all that stuff. Yes, I suffered, but I was the victim of this thing, this machine. It's so powerful.
My goal is not to present any idea of a solution to this problem, but to shed light on the ethical and monetary issues that come from being a child influencer. When children become stars in their family's online content, they become child influencers. It is more than just filming your family life and putting it online. It is a full-time job with employees, business credit cards, managers, and marketing strategies.
Yep.
The difference between family vlogging and a normal business, however, is that all the children are employees. Children from before they are born to the day they turn 18 have become the stars of family businesses on YouTube.
Hear that again. Children from before they are born. The pregnancy is just as lucrative as the birthday. Just as lucrative, if not more. Oh.
Instagram and other social media platforms. Utah is specifically a hotspot for family content due to the LDS culture around family and the goal to share the church with the world. We also have large families, which makes family content more lucrative. Specifically, many parents film their regular family life as an online video blog called a vlog. But I want to be clear that there is never, ever a good reason for posting your children online for money or fame. There is no such thing as a moral or ethical family vlogger.
And that includes, and I know I get pushback from these. The people who put their terminal children on to raise awareness to certain diseases or whatever, because you could do that without exploiting your children. There's never, and she's right, there is never a good enough excuse to exploit your children, expose them on the internet to strangers. I don't care if they have the most rare disease in the entire world. You can still expose that stuff without putting your kid on the internet. There is literally no need to put them physically in front of a camera. None whatsoever. Okay, and if it's about like some kind of marker that they have genetically, then bring up the textbook. Okay, you do not need to exploit. And I don't care. These two moms out there that were getting super mad at me for like calling them out, they both stopped doing it, by the way. Fancy that. And again, because I was right. And everybody that follows me who was commenting on it, it was divisive though. There were some people like, oh no, you can't call out moms of sick children. Yes, we can. Because it is just as wrong, if not more wrong. Those kids get no dignity, especially if if they have terminal and they have not long for this world. If you have not long for this world with your child, why would you spend every fucking day filming your life for the internet strangers? I don't get it. You're not spending you cannot spend quality time with your child if they are being put in content every day. That's not quality content. That's not quality time with your child. Oh, that gets me.
At first, family vlogging is an alluring business that can bring high revenue. For my family, it became the primary source of income, as is often the case with most full-time family vloggers. Mm-hmm. Many child influencers are paid for their work, as I was, and this money has helped me in my adult life. However, this payment was usually a bribe.
So she's just reiterating what we read.
Wanted to be on camera. The camera never stops. May realize they don't have an appropriate amount of money to show for their labor.
It's the same thing.
I promise you that my experiences are not unique and are happening to child influencers all over Utah and the country. So let's tackle this issue before it becomes a bigger crisis than it already is.
Anyway, yeah, just basically reiterated what she wrote there. But what pisses me off about this, and I want to see the comments of this real quick of the Griffith, Ellie and Jared. 45 comments on the Griffith Family Snark page here. It's the I'm so grateful we documented our life that makes it seem like this was kind of a dig to Shari for speaking out. Ellie could have shared her story in so many other ways. I get why it looks like she's trying to steal Shari's thunder. She clearly does have an issue with filming her kids, even after all the nieces and nephews went through. Yeah, and she is trying to steal the thunder. She's trying to redirect it. And this is a dig at Shari. Shari just posted to end all family vlogging. It's not going to happen, guys. Money matters more to these people than anything else. They don't give a shit if their predators fall on their kids. They don't care. And they're going to care if something really happens. But at this point, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's unbelievable. Ellie's self-centeredness is impressive. She's definitely her mother's child. So I want to point this out because in Shari's comment section, there are people who are like, they're not having it. She's getting tons and tons of support, which I'm glad. Bonnie and Ellie, listen up. Shari, you're amazing. Take them down. She's not trying to take down people. She just wants to get this and people held accountable. They not take down, but stop it. Just stop exploiting children. Someone writes, very well said. I feel ashamed it took me so long to realize the bad family vlogging because to the families I was watching. But once I realized I never watched another family vlog. There it is. There's a lot of people, once they start waking up to the realization that you are actually, when you're watching them, you're perpetuating this. You're helping it along. That's got to make you feel a little sick. Look at this. The Heart of Mother Nature writes, I think vlogging and family vlogging can be done in a non-damaging way. Your whole family does it. Charles Trippy, Shay Carl, Jess Fam. I don't think your situation's unique, but I also don't think it's the majority. But I totally understand. She's using Shay Carl, Jess Fam. Now, Charles Trippy, I would agree. They made a change and they just turned the content into those two. And I like Charles Trippy. Okay? But the audacity to put Jess Fam and Shay Carl in there. Shay Carl ruined his family. Okay? By being a complete dickhole. But there is no safe way to do it. Okay, maybe the safe way, and I think I wrote this, I think the safe way would be to be like, okay, you want to do family vlogging, no problem, but don't show your kids. That's the only safe way, is to not show your kids. You miss the whole point. Someone writes, the kids can't, and she's like, I didn't miss anything. I have my own opinion and deal with it. Well, here, the Heart of Mother Nature, your opinion is shit. That thing that's coming out of your face hole, that's a shit opinion. It's stupid. You put it on the internet, and we get to tear it apart. Heart of Mother Nature, you think Shay Carl and Jess from a healthy family vloggers? You're delusional. And I said, no, they can't do it in a non-damaging way, unless you mean never show kids and do family content. Is that what you mean? Does she get back to anybody who threw her into the... She says, so here she writes again, I didn't say healthy, but I don't believe their kids are in danger. You're such a dumbass. Are you not listening to her? Are you not listening to any of us? Their kids are in danger of multiple things. One of which is predators that follow them, social and parasocial relationships. Two is that their online presence is there forever, and the internet is forever, and every embarrassing moment that's filmed, that's damaging to their futures. Okay? It is danger in so many ways. Danger of bullying, danger of being exploited, danger of being blackmailed, danger of being used in artificial intelligence PORN. There's so many dangers, you butthole. They're not the same as Ruby. I'm sorry, watching Ruby. Shut the I can't do it. These people are so stupid. Anyway, thanks to Shari for putting that out there. We appreciate you and the work that you're doing, and I hope that you keep pushing and use your loud voice and your fame to do this, because that takes a special kind of person, and you are awesome for doing it. Okay, I know Shari and Chad and everybody doesn't like me. I don't blame them, but I'm going to stand on this platform every day for those people who are standing up for other kids, because they deserve it. They deserve to be praised. They deserve to sell their book and make tons of... I hope she gets millions of dollars from this book. I hope she gets so much money that she can use it and grow her voice and get on Dr. Phil and get on all the shows and talk about this. I hope that she becomes the advocate, because that's what's going to happen. Naturally, there's going to be advocates that come out of this kind of thing. And she's one of them for sure. So we appreciate you, Shari. Thanks so much for using your voice. You're awesome. All right. I'm not going to get to the other story. I'll get to another day because we're just kind of running out of time. But I need to laugh a little after this, okay? Because this is hilarious, okay? This is hilarious. Here, hold on. She didn't think it was...
You're right, and I hope this is dark enough. Let's try it.
Look at this. What did you eat to get that? Check your bannies, is all I'm saying. It's still, like, if she lit that earlier, that would have been a bigger flame. She drops the thing. So here's someone writes, here's a quick recipe for egg fried rice. Okay, so this is where it gets funny, okay? Because here are the comments. Sounded like a swamp gator on a hot Louisiana day. And you can feel and picture that. Sounded like a dying giraffe. Oh my gosh. Someone who just got Insta, and this is the first vid on their feed. Imagine the first thing you open is a girl fart in a jar and light it on fire. That fart was diabolical. I'm impressed. Like, that puts dudes to shame. Bro, that wasn't the average rip. Like, that's like post-colonoscopy level ass ham. That's awesome. Oh, the amount of times I'm hearing this while reading the comments. It's so true. Just let it go.
You're right, and I hope it's dark enough. Let's try it.
Oh my God. That probably felt so good. Oh, the raw smelling. 24/7 to access the internet is great. Sounds like Jake Brake on a Peterbilt. What the hell is that on a truck? She filled that thing to the top. I know a homie that would throw his whole life away to be that jar. That's just, it's true. There are people who want, like, people smelly socks and farts in a jar and bathwater. Those people should be in prison. Put somewhere safe on an island, Shutter Island. Oh my gosh, she fired an absolute... This one made me laugh the other night in bed. She fired off an absolute steamer and was surprised it lit on fire. I don't know why that phrase, that way that structured the sentence is so funny. She fired off an absolute steamer and was surprised it caught fire. Oh my gosh. What a waste. Could have closed it and gave it to some lucky guy. That's disgusting. I hope she cleaned up that glass and no animal steps. Shut the law. You're probably fun at parties. Oh, what's her at? I'm gonna marry her. No thanks. Oh, in some places that's a mating call. That fart had sulfur in it. Oh my gosh. That shit sounds like when you get too close to a gator and they growl. Is it true? Watch.
You're right, and I hope this is dark enough. Let's try it.
Just empty your bowels. I'm sweating that I'm laughing so hard. Oh my god. Sounds like it's gonna itch when it tries. Had you bottled and let it ferment for a few decades, it could be used to bring down a building in demolition. Our latest generation. Oh, you know, her stomach stopped hurting after that one. It's so true. Oh my gosh. Oh. Comments are so good. I would have bought the jar. Baked beans, literally a jar of burnt booty. Oh my gosh. This is why aliens avoid us. So crazy. Oh my gosh. That's enough Insta for one day. We'll leave it there. This is an absolute steamer. Am I just, it's just me? Or is that funny? Is that funny? Oh my gosh. If you guys find these videos on Instagram with the funny comment sections, you send them to me. They're my favorite thing in the world, okay? Oh, thanks for being here, guys. Let's take a deep breath. Awesome. This is burnt booty. Oh, thanks for being here, guys. I hope we had some fun today and got angry too. But I'm glad we had some fun. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And yeah, just it's. Do you want to try this too? Is it just me? Anyway, I'll see you guys when I see you.